Torah, Terumah, page Pei, bottom of the first column. So now the Rabbi explains like this: there's the Kruvim, and therefore the Kruvim were this relationship that caused the connection between the Jew and Hashem. But now that there's no Beis Hamikdash and the Kruvim are not there, so how do we accomplish this thing? Because the Baruch Hu has only Dalet Amos Shel Halacha Bilvad, because he says that's why Torah is likened to the level of cholav, of milk. The kid is nursing from the mother, and that makes the kid grow. The same thing through Torah, it's like milk, it also makes the children, the Yidden, grow. And therefore we say, how is it possible? At the time of God, Hashem, we're asking Hashem, please keep us like the level of brothers, that relationship like the Kruvim. He says, how is it shaykh by Hashem to say, now the Rebbe is asking a general question. How is it possible that Hashem is affected by our learning Torah down here? Very simple. How is it possible we say it becomes mi'iten chokachli yenik mishtei imei, that nurses from the mother, so that means that Mishter becomes affected by us. So how could that be? In the Indian it says like this: Yisrael, the shepherds of the Yidden. It says, right, the famous thing, my sister, my friend, and it says, what does it mean? Parnosasi. My parnasa, but the Medrash says, Yisrael, mefanisim lavim shebeshamayim. Yidden actually give parnasa to Hashem. Of course, Hashem gives us parnasa. But when we do Torah mitzvahs, we give Hashem parnasa. What does that mean? It says, just like bread keeps the soul in the body. God forbid you don't eat. God forbid you die. So what keeps the neshama in the body? You need to eat. That's why if you don't eat, you become weak, because the neshama is not functioning in the body. The same thing. What does it mean? The Yidden give Hashem parnasa. They don't write him a check every month. What it means is, Hashem should reveal the infinite level of Elokus, which are called Gatfin, which are called the wings. The Rebbe explained before, this is the concept of the Hashem, the Shechina, limiting itself, mitzamtzim itself between the two poles of the Aron. What do Yidden do giving Hashem parnasa? They cause the infinite level of Elokus to reveal itself into the 10 spheres, and then it comes down to us. So therefore he says like this: what does Torah accomplish? Torah gives Hashem parnasa. What does it mean? Kaviyachas, they sustain Hashem. Hashem is sustained in the world by our learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. How could that be? It's only because Hashem wants it to be like that. Because Hashem wants, and Hashem says, you know what? When you do a mitzvah, you learn Torah, I will come down and stay in the world. It's like we blow shofar, we coronate the king, that Hashem wants to be our king. Blowing a shofar, what does it have to do? Only because Hashem said so. Like it says by Kabbalah, Shamarti v'naseh ritzeini. Because I said so, and that's why you did my will. That causes Hashem to, and therefore, like we learned the other day, it has to be in Hashem's terms. A guy can't come along and say, you know what, I will keep Hashem in the world, page Pei. I'll keep Hashem in the world by dancing off the roof. Or dancing, banging on this thing over here, whatever it is. Not L'chadaidi, I mean Friday morning.
Or Friday singing.
Kivinulei simply means we hope for him. Mekave. But here it says Kivinulei, we bring Hashem into the various kavim, into kava chesed, kava gvura, the lines of chesed, gvura, into Ainu. Islam, Shisa Erbes, Sfiras. And Nechlokim, which is generally divided into 3 kavim. Chesed, Dru, Yamina, Chesed is the right side, Gvul is the left. Ukenegda, and corresponding with the three levels, you have Torah, Aveda, Gemilas, Sodom. What is the Aveda of the Jew? Like it says, the Shtei Dvarim Eilim Ha'emet. Right? Torah, Aveda, Gemilas, Chesadim. Gemilas, Chesadim is Chesed, Kabbanis. Right? Aveda is Kabbanis, so davening, which is Gvura, and then you have Torah, which is Tiferes. So these are the three Kavim that we, by doing Torah, Aveda, Gemilas, Chesadim, we bring Hashem into Kava Chesed, Kava Gvura, Kava Tiferes. Well, so now we do it, but why don't we see it? Because La'asad Yizgalu Kolam Shachas. La'asad Lavei, then it will be revealed. And therefore, La'asad Lavei, it says, Hini Elokeinu Zeh, Kivinu Zeh Hashem Nagilav in this Mechavei. By Kriyas Yamsuf, it says Zeh Keli Van Vehu, once, Zeh. And the Gemara says, Mare Be'etzba, that even Rasa Shivcha Layam, the maidservant that Kriyas Yamsuf saw greater than Yechezkel ben Buzi saw in the Merkava that he saw that we read in Haftarah on the first day of Shavuos. But that's only once that. La'asid Lavai, it's going to be twice that, meaning it's going to be a much, much greater revelation of Elokus than we even do now. Lochein Amavai Bayemahu, and that day, meaning when Mashiach comes, is going to be Zeh Hashem Kivinu Lei Nagil. I mean, Hine Elokeinu Zeh Hashem Kivinu Lei. Achma she'emer yenik mishtei imei dafke shubachinas te'esh shebal peh l'cheira. But the nursing, the growth, we said is from like milk, cholav. But l'cheira, that's te'esh shebal peh. Remember we learned, like it says, te'esh shebiksav is called musar avicha, the level of Av. But te'esh shebal peh nikra te'esh imecha. That's why the pasuk says two things. Shma b'ni musar avicha v'al titesh te'esh imecha ki b'te'esh shebiksav hakol b'remez v'alma. Like we learned yesterday. Te'esh shebiksav is b'kitzer. It says don't do malach on Shabbos. 5 words, 4 words, and they have a whole tractate writing about it, explaining what it means. Or kamei shav mazriya tipa. Just like the father gives the seed, the drop. Ika gidul avlad, and the primary growth of the child, the primary growth of Torah, is bebeten o'ein, in the stomach of the mother. The expansion in the whole creation. Now, it's interesting. Everything of the child is included in this tip of the father. But the tip of the father is too concise, too limited. Now you need the mother to broaden it 9 months into Bina. Therefore, the details of the halachas to understand them properly is b'ter shebal peh. Hainu, ter shebiksav comes from chochma, which is called Abba, father. Ter shebal peh b'chinas Bina, that's called Ima. So therefore, why is it basically teres imecha? Why is the milk of the mother? Because the primary growth of Torah and understanding of Torah is dafkan ter shebal peh. Therefore, the Tzedukim by Tusim, the core writes, they don't believe in ter shebal peh. It's no good. Because you don't have an understanding of what ter shebal peh really is. It is where do you have the primary enjoyment when you people that are intellectual, that enjoy learning? Where's the primary enjoyment? Not in chokhmah. When it comes into bina, when it comes into understanding, that's the primary level of chokhmah. But body we understand it properly. Like it says in the Zohar, the pasuk Vavad Alevihu is Da'atika, which is the level atik she says Ye'enik Shtei Imei Dafka. By days and nimshchem mimenu gilu ataynu began Eden liasnanim izif, and that's why. What does the Gemara say? Be quoted the Gemara. Ashrei misha balakan v'talmudei biyadei. Because in Gan Eden, when you enjoy the Shechina, it comes from the rays of Torah. Learning Torah that you do bring down. That's the parnas of Hashem that comes into the rays, come into the world of Elokus. And like the Gemara says, whatever it means, Hashem is going to play with the tzaddikim in Gan Eden. Meaning, so through that Esek HaTorah. Because what does the Gemara say? Where does Hashem find himself in the world? What is the sustenance of Hashem in the world? It's the level of Torah. And another interesting point, pay second count. The Farshim ask, there's nothing to do with it. Sometimes we find, Kol Yisrael Yeshlom Chelek L'Olam Haba. You have a Chelek in Olam Haba. Sometimes it says, Kol Hashem Alochus B'chol Yom, Muftach Leishu Ben Olam Haba. What's the difference between Ben Olam Haba and Chelek L'Olam Haba? You find this throughout Chazal. Sometimes it says Ben Olam Haba, sometimes Chelek. So they give a mashal. It's like a wedding. People are invited to the wedding. Yeah? So you have the family comes to the wedding, and the guests come to the wedding. Yeah? Free food. You come to the wedding. So both are there. But the family is much more involved. They have a greater participation. They have a greater...
Gifts.
Huh?
Gifts.
No. So that's the difference. Ben Olam Haba, everybody's in the wedding. Olam Gan Eden, Olam Haba. Some people come as guests. That's Chelek Olam Haba. And people, Esik B'Torah, Shana Allah is Ben Olam Haba. It's a much different thing. Everybody, the Mishnah says, Kol Yisrael Yeshlom Chelek Olam Haba. But Ben Olam Haba is Dafka through Torah. And then it says, the pay second column. Emsacha b'chutz. That goes, then the pasuk continues, Emsacha b'chutz. That refers to Bali Asakim. So Yenik Shmishtei Imei represents the level of people that learn Torah. The milk, Cholav. And then it says, Emsacha b'chutz, Bali Asakim Afo Pishi Yev Shalom Masik B'Torah Tamid. Even though business people are not able to sit and learn Torah a whole day, that they should be yenik shtei imay adei dalet amashal alacham mikama kem aleim nemad mikama kem emtzacha b'chutz gamkein. And he's going to explain what this means. So they're not in the learning, but they're, because they support, that's, as he's going to explain. V'inyin dehine matzino v'akadosh baruch hu nemad gamkein loshen kaina. We find the expression of kaina by Hashem. Like it says, kaina shemayim v'aretz. Now simply, when you say 3 times a day in Shemoneh Esrei, kaina hakel, v'zeicha chaz di'avis. No, so over there, kaina hakel, and kaina shemayim v'aretz literally means he created. Take an English siddur. Kaina hakel means he created everything. But they still use the expression kaina. Why does it use kaina? It should say kaina hakel. Yeah? 1 minute, we said. We learned, Chassidus, okay. As Chazal say, Chamisha kinyanim kana kadosh baruch hu. Hashem has Torah kinyan echad, Yisrael kinyan echad, pick your office, right? The next, if it says, Sheish Yisrael Masa Hashem es Hashemayim ves haaretz, uvayem hashvi Shabbos. Pasuk says 6 days Hashem created, and the 7th day He rested. V'chol Shabbos nekar yem hashvi Shabbos l'Hashem. Okay? Now, the Chayram, Eich Shaykh Likir Shabbos is the Achshav. Yem Hashvi. Now, what's the Shabbos? Shabbos is called the 7th day. Yeah? He asked, Harikra Avru Revavis Yom Yem Brias Eilu Ma Shabbos Eilu. Now, the Rebbe says, practically speaking, how can you call Shabbos the 7th day when since the beginning of creation there's tens of thousands of days? So why are you calling Shabbos Yem Hashvi? Okay, simply means the 7th day of the week. But in a deeper sense, why is Shabbos called Yom Hashvi? It's not Yom Hashvi, it's Yom billion, Yom 1,000, 10,000, whatever. So he says, because it means deeper than that. What is Sheishis Yomim Asa Hashem? It means that the 6 midas created the world. Yom Rishon is the level of Chesed. Monday is the Rakia, which splits, is called the Gvura. 3rd day Teferes, 4th day, whatever it is. And then what does Shabbos do? Shabbos, put simply, 6 days Hashem got involved in creation. That's why Hashem is lowering Himself into Creator. The equivalent as an expression, Chassidus always brings down. Loi zehu ikar alokus mashu beira elimis. The primary level of Hashem is not that He creates worlds. Creating worlds, like we learned, or in the Basi Lagani Maamarim, one word created the worlds. That's not the main level of the person. It's nothing compared to the person. So during the week, Hashem is associating Himself with creation. Therefore, how do we connect ourselves to Hashem? By working, by creating. Hashem is creator, so therefore we need to connect to Hashem. So we need to create. Shabbos, Hashem stops creating, meaning He goes back to a much higher level than His association with worlds and creation and all that. That's the level of B'yom Hashvi. What does Shabbos do? Vayechulu hashemayim va'aretz. As Chassidus explained, kiloyin. It elevates all the days of the previous week. Like Chassidus says, the Zohar says Shabbos has two unique qualities to it. From one side, it elevates all the days of the previous week. And minay mizbarchun kol yom. Shabbos blesses the next week. So Shabbos has two, what?
How does God ceasing to create comes to manifestation in our world? Do you have any evidence?
That what? That He stopped creating?
God ceasing to create on Shabbat comes to manifest itself. How do we know? How do we see it? How can it be?
How can it be what? That the world still exists?
Whatever.
No, and so what your question is?
I'm saying, how do we know? How does God ceasing to create on Shabbat comes to manifestation? How does it express itself?
And Shabbos, the world is holy. Shabbos is a holy day.
How does it come to expression?
Sambatyan doesn't throw up stones like it does during the week. Shabbos is a holier day. In other words, in simple English, during the week, eating is not a mitzvah. When you eat with a bracha, Hashem Shemayim and all that, so then you elevate the food. Shabbos, because of the Kedusha of Shabbos, the actual eating is a mitzvah. There's no mitzvah to eat during the week.
My question was...
So I still don't get your question.
My question, you said that God in Shabbat...
in other words, what it means is Hashem stops revealing Himself in a lower level. Like you rest. What happens when you rest? During the week when you work, you put your powers in. Why does the person get tired when they work? So I'm not going into the medical things. You ask the doctors, right? But spirit was physically also like this. When I build a building, my energy goes into the building that I'm building. Therefore, I get tired because I don't have energy anymore. What happens when you rest? Your energy comes back because you stopped putting your energy into the building. So your strength comes back to the original level. During the week, Hashem associates Himself with world He creates, meaning He's identifying with world. Shabbos, Hashem stops creating, meaning He's not associated directly with the world of speech. He does it through thought. But in other words, Hashem is not lowering Himself to a level. He's now a level above world, above creation. Therefore, when a Jew keeps Shabbos, by not creating, we associate ourselves with a level of godliness which is higher than creator, which is the essence of Hashem. That's why Shabbos is forbidden to create. Why? Because if you want to connect yourself to Hashem on Shabbos, you can't create because Hashem's not creator that day. Hashem is above creator. So therefore we need to stop creating on Shabbos. Therefore Shabbos you're not allowed to create.
Can we say simply that Hashem commanded us 63 times in
63?
Like, keep Shalom,
63 you said?
Yeah.
Where do you get 63?
Hashem commanded us 63 times by Shabbos in Rosh. That's why.
I know about 63, but yeah. That's why He told us to not create on Shabbos. Because on Shabbos, the purpose of Shabbos is to connect to Hashem on the infinite level of Hashem, rather than Hashem limits Himself into a limited world to create. And therefore, on Shabbos, it's called Aliyah Sa'ilamis. The worlds become elevated.
So the food on Shabbat is not fattening?
It's fattening, because you can have an axe with a shtreimer. Shabbos is Shabbos. Shabbos is Yemei HaMaaseh is Aved of Yerid, the Amidas B'Bial Levanet. Malchus, how does Hashem create? Malchus, speech, goes into the worlds of B'riyah, Tzir, and Asiyah. So therefore, what do you have to do? Now you have sparks of Kedusha that fell into the world. So Shabbat, what's Avodah of the Jew? Avodah Sabirurim means to pick out those sparks of Kedusha, and elevate it to Kedusha. But Achakar b'yem HaShabbos, he aliyosam aliyos oilibus. Shaliyah dafka b'yem u'midah shviyas, which is the level of Malchus. And that's what it says. Skip the parentheses. Vayachulu hashemayim, in expression, loch kol sanafshi. Koloin, like we say, koloin longing. Kol sanafshi. Lochad deidi likras kala, bayi kala. Lochein eimrim, bebracham eimin sheva. Male Shabbat, therefore Friday night in Mogen Ovis, we say Keina Shemayim V'Oretz. What does it mean Keina Shemayim V'Oretz? Kin Aliyas Elam is b'Shabbos. All the of this that the world becomes elevated on Shabbos. V'chol Mashin is bar b'Shesi mi'amayse. And all the Avodah we did on the 6 days of the week. Oila v'nichlol ma'al b'Shabbos. That's the level of a kinyan. What's kinyan? Acquiring. How do you get something? You give money, you pay for it, and then you first you have to pay, and then you get it to you. So he says, through this that the midas of Hashem come, chesed, gvura, teferes, it all comes into Elokus, levayin nitzutzim, to refine the world. Mitorah the Pruda literally means mountains of separation. In other words, what does it mean? It all Hashem acquires it. What does it mean it acquires it? Like this, there's a whole level of pirud, separation and weak, and we have to elevate the sparks of Kedusha that are found in Klippa. What happens Shabbos? Keina Shemayim V'Oretz. Now it all becomes a shemitz, Rishus HaYochid, which explains a very fascinating Gemara that very seemingly doesn't make too much sense when you look at it. They asked Rabbi Akiva, whoever it was, I think it was Rabbi Akiva. He says, if your God keeps Torah, how did me officially keep Shabbat? Huh? Shabbos. No, it's not. I don't remember. This famous Gemara, they asked, I think it was Rabbi Akiva, if your God keeps Torah, keeps Shabbos, yet Hashem makes rain on Shabbos, which waters the plants. That's the Malacha Zriyah. Hashem makes people die on Shabbos, born on Shabbos. That's the Malacha Shchita, killing, whatever it is. They go through a bunch of things. He said, what do you mean your God keeps Torah? God keeps Torah, he doesn't keep Torah. He does all these Malachas on Shabbos. So what did he answer him? He said, by Hashem, the whole world is a Rishus HaYochid. The whole world is a private domain, which doesn't make sense seemingly. In Rishus HaYochid, you can't water your garden, you can't kill somebody in your house, you can't, what is it? It only answers caring. But how does it answer all the other 38 malachis that Hashem does in Shabbat? What do you mean it's Rishus HaYochid? So Chassidus explains what we're learning here. What's the Avodah of a Jew? The Avodah of a Jew is to make the world from Rabim to make it Rishus HaYochid. To show that the world Hashem Echad Einod. Where is he? He's not here. Einod Mulvadi, that the only thing that exists is Hashem. So what's basically the Avodah of the Jew? To make, like it says in the coin, the Italian, the Latin on the coins, to make from many one, whatever it means, amen. It means to make from many one, the Avodah of the Jew. The Rebbe said many times, it's interesting, in American currency was to make the world go round. It says, what's the tachlis of creation? In God we trust. And that, whatever that is, that you make from many, you make into one. That's the whole Avodah Sabirurim. What's the Avodah Sabirurim? So then, on Shabbos, the world is elevated, and then it's obvious that Hashem is Keinei Shemayim V'Oretz. Meaning, it all becomes His. And therefore we say Keinei Hakel, instead of Beirei Hakel, we say Keinei Shemayim V'Oretz. Yes, it literally means, take an English siddur, means Keinei Hakel, He creates everything. You're not going to find an English siddur, He acquires everything. It's all His anyway. Kainei means he creates everything. But why is it tefillah using the word kainei? Because what happens, Hashem acquires it, it becomes his. Therefore, in Kiddush Levana, when we say by Kiddush Levana after the bracha Mechadesh Chadashim, we say Baruch Eisech, Yitzrich, Berech, Kainech, which are the four elements: Asiya, Yitzira, Bria, Atzilus. Why is Atzilus called Kainech? Should say Eisech, Yitzrich, Berech, Atzilach, whatever. Atzilach. Why does it say Baruch Kainech? Because what's Atzilus? It's the world that Hashem acquires it. It's Hashem. It's all Yerusha Yochid. It's Bittul. It's Batul Telukus. So Atzilus is called Kainech. Kainech Shemayim Bar. It's on a higher level. Besides meaning creating, means it's his. It's all Yerusha Yochid. So therefore, this is what Rabbi Kiva answered. The whole purpose of Torah mitzvahs is to make the world Yerusha Yochid. So therefore, by Hashem, the world is Rishus HaYachid. It's in his thing, in his realm, there's no need to elevate the world. There's not a problem doing malacha because it's anyway Rishus HaYachid. The same thing, the guy asked somebody also in the Gemara, Im alakechem koyenu. He said, if your God is a kohen, how did he bury Moshe Rabbeinu? Kohen is not allowed to become Tamei. He asked him that. So what did he answer? Jews are banim atam l'Hashem alakechem. The Jews are children, and the kohen could become tamei for a child. That's what it says one of the 7 craving. So the Rebbe asks in the Sikha, Hashem's a kohen gadol. A kohen gadol is not to become tamei for anybody. So what the answer is this: that Hashem is children.
Not even for his child.
Huh?
Kohen gadol.
Kohen not for nobody. Min hamigdash lo yitzei. Lavi v'lim alei yitama.
So what's the answer?
So the Rebbe explained, and it's a famous sikha, the Rebbe explained the whole long Megillah, a whole long thing, that the concept, because of whatever, it's a long, complicated sikha, but the bottom line is, because the Yidden are Hashem's children, that by Hashem, the concept of Tumah and Tara doesn't make sense. Tumah and Tara can only be something that's Tumah-able and pure-able. But if you're above all that, it's not sheikh they ask, how does Hashem become Tumah? That level of Tumah doesn't, it's like making a square circle. I mean, that concept doesn't exist by Hashem.
You can also argue that for Hashem, somebody's demise in this world does not mean his demise in the next world.
Yeah, but physically you can't kill somebody either. Even though the Neshama is going to go to Gan Eden.